It is always an honor to be joined by NHL Commissioner and friend of the show, Gary Bettman. Gary, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Commish.
Always love to be with you. Thanks for having me. And this is a great time of year. There's so much going on, and it's all exciting.
It certainly is. It's been an incredible start to these Stanley Cup Finals. What stood out to you the most so far?
The intensity of the games and the skill level of the players, how close this rematch from last year has been. I mean, the unpredictability, the excitement, the overtime, the double overtime. And it's even incredible. Even though uh, Edmonton lost the last game, the play that most people are talking about wasn't even a goal. It was Connor McDavid skating through the Panthers and giving an amazing pass to Leon Draisaitl to score a goal. It just speaks to how intense the game is and how great our players are.
Commissioner, I'm doing that hockey, Commissioner Bettman. I was watching it in OKC. I got to tell you, I was watching Florida while I was in OKC. I was watching it from there. I got to ask you, McDavid obviously is special. He's a generational caliber player. What does having a player of that magnitude do for a sport in your estimation?
It transcends the sport. It's not just about hockey fans. It's not just about sports fans. Casual fans will tune in just to see the magic that a generational player can bring to it. And if you think back, look at the intensity that we had last year at this time with these two teams going to a game 7. We're off to an incredible start, 1-1 after the 2 games in Edmonton with game 3 tonight in Florida. And as the series builds, much like what happened with Four Nation and the Canada-US rivalry, we're trying to do things that captivate the attention beyond traditional hockey fans, including, fans like you who are taking a special interest in the game, which we very much appreciate.
And that was tremendous. And now it looks like the NBA is following suit with the All-Star game because so much success, obviously, with the NHL there. So a team from Canada, Gary, hasn't won the Stanley Cup since the Canadiens in the early 90s. Please tell me this. Put it in perspective for us. If Edmonton pulls this off, how would that entire country respond?
Well, it's funny you should raise it because I hear about that all the time because the last time a Canadian team won the cup was my first year as commissioner, and that's almost ancient history. Our fans are very geographically loyal, very tribal, very passionate about their teams, but there seems to be a countrywide interest north of the 49th parallel by people, sports fans, regular citizens in Canada wanting to see a Canadian team bring the Stanley Cup back to Canada. Although, I tend to view it, we're one league, and sometimes the difference between the Canadian clubs and the U.S. clubs gets overblown. Although when you go back to Four Nations and the tensions that were, out there between the two countries a few months ago, I guess it takes on a special appeal. I actually believe that one of the bridges in Montreal across the St. Lawrence had illuminated Go Oilers, which you would never see in Canadians' country. So it's really captured everybody's attention in Canada.
Commissioner, I remember when I saw you addressing the issue with the concerns people had coming into the postseason, or particularly the Stanley Cups, when they talked about a Florida and Edmonton market, and they were saying stuff like, the popularity, the ratings, these concerns that they have. I'm walking the streets and I find people talking about the NHL more than ever before. I think that I want to know, what do you believe that you've done, considering the fact that you've been in this position as commissioner for nearly 35 years? What do you believe you've done over the last several years that has helped give a higher profile to the sport, per se, than may have existed in the past?
Well, it's not just me. It's the support we get from ownership. It's what all the people at all the teams do throughout the league, and it's the players. And it's really a focus on marketing and promoting and grassroots programs, broader distribution on the Disney networks and Warner Brothers Discovery. We creating tentpole events like outdoor games and playing internationally. And expanding our presence with more franchises and places than we've ever had them before. The two most recent and notable being Las Vegas and Seattle. I think there's more and more focus on the game than ever before, but that's probably starting with the fact, and this is something that I always say and I always focus on, the game has never been better. And I'll put our game and our competitive balance and our entertainment values up against any sport, anytime, and the intensity of our playoffs ramps things up even further. And the game and the players probably have never been better.
Intensity is a key word. It's always there. And just to put it in perspective, Stephen A., remember with Four Nations, we spent our entire A block,
yes, we did,
30 minutes,
loved it,
on that alone, and loved every second. Gary Bettman, 35 years in and clearly not slowing down. It is always a pleasure when we get to talk to you. Enjoy the game tonight.
And by the way, Commissioner, our apologies the other day for the hat that PK was rocking. We didn't suggest that hat. We didn't do that. That was all him.
How's PK catching straight?
He can do whatever he wants. He's great. And if we can get the two of you to a game, either down in South Florida or Edmonton, it would be our pleasure to have.
Oh, Gary, I'm always available for South Florida.
There we go.
You just let me know when, and I'm happy to buy the flight.